Ladies and gentlemen, the ASMR community is an absolute shambles as a large creator by the name of Angelica has dropped a video that she quickly deleted where she made some pretty massive SA allegations from another ASMR creator, as well as called out a few other creators who steal her content, used her as a friend, and then people who P-word bait.
Needless to say, then I blacked out. I was like 100 pounds at the time. And I really sincerely do not remember how we went from the convention room to their room, but I basically made it to their hotel room. When I started waking up, she's on top of me, like putting her face on my face, like kissing me, and then trying to put her hand down my pants.
These are just a few of the claims that this creator made and then quickly deleted the video. Mind you, the ASMR community, you know, where they like make the noises and make the mic things, and like for the most part it's so you can relax, sleep, or goon, right? There's kind of a mix between all three of those, but for the most part there's not a lot of drama. Now, Angelica ended up posting this video yesterday called Breaking My Silence, Angelica ASMR Drama, in air quotes, not ASMR, on her Angelica's Labyrinth channel, which she deleted shortly after, causing people to re-upload it. Angelica ASMR, Breaking My Silence, re-upload, Uncut. And if you look, this video is 55 minutes and 24 seconds. The one that she posted, that she has now edited a bit of context out of, is only 44 minutes. Now, the beginning of this video, she basically talks about her introduction to ASMR and how she used to be a Mormon and she ended up leaving the Mormon ideology and whatnot. She wasn't rocking with it, right? Because her ASMR content and being a YouTuber was affecting that. They didn't want her to do ASMR, blah, blah, blah. And she ended up meeting a guy, getting a boyfriend, and then collaborating with a whole bunch of other YouTube creators, ASMR creators, as her channel kind of blew up in size, leading to her going to VidCon, where she would end up meeting up with Goodnight Moon, who is another large ASMR creator. And these people would kind of vibe, they would hang out, have a good time, and get drinks. To which Angelica did not know that these drinks were double shots, meaning instead of one, it's basically two. Instead of three, it's basically six, right? So Angelica and Goodnight Moon and another ASMR creator, you know, they're down in these shots, they're having a good time partying, to which it gets to the point where Angelica claims that Goodnight Moon SA'd her.
Needless to say, then I blacked out. I was like 100 pounds at the time. And I really sincerely do not remember how we went from the convention room to their room, but I basically made it to their hotel room. And the next thing I know, Aaron once again did not drink a single drop. PJ was kind of out of it. And when I started waking up, she's on top of me, like putting her face on my face, like kissing me, and then trying to put her hand down my pants. And then I grab her wrist and I basically stop it from going. I'm like holding it still, and I'm basically giving a cue of like, don't, like, stop. But I'm like knocked out. So I'm like trying to like push her off of me, try to like whatever. And I just feel really weak. Coming to the rescue is PJ Dreams. He then jumps on top of her and they start doing stuff. And that was my cue to just get out. I ran to the bathroom, I splashed water in my face, and I'm like, what is going on here? I then walked to the door and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go to my hotel room now. And they're like, no, let us walk you there, because it's like 2 a.m. and there's like influencers. It's like a shady whatever, you know, so.
Now, she ends up elaborating even further about this SA allegation that her and Goodnight Moon ended up going to VidCon together, right? They ended up sitting together, and throughout the whole time of them like being together in this event, right? Days are passing, you know, she's wanting to hang out and do other things with her. And the entire time, Angelica is extremely uncomfortable, right? Of course, if you get SA'd, you're not going to want to hang out and, you know, be around the person who SA'd you, tried to slide their fingers in your pants, right? But Goodnight Moon ended up dropping a community post giving her side of this situation. Now, she would end up posting this on this channel, Goodnight Moon ASMR. I need to address a sexual assault accusation that has been made about an encounter that happened at VidCon in 2019. I'm going to explain my memory of that night as directly as I can. I would prefer not to share such private details like this publicly, but it's because of the seriousness of this accusation I believe clarity is necessary. That evening, the three of us, Angelica, PJ, and I, were drinking together. All three of us drank throughout the evening and continued drinking when we returned to the hotel room. Eventually, the three of us all fell asleep in the same bed. Sometime in the middle of the night, I was woken up half drunk by the feeling of Angelica on top of me with her mouth on mine, kissing me. I started kissing her back, and then she moved her hand down my pants. I started to reach my hand down her pants too, but she immediately stopped my hand in place by grabbing it. The moment she stopped me, I removed my hand and did not try again. We continued kissing for a short time. I was physically beneath her, with her straddling me for the entire encounter. Soon after that, PJ woke up and tried to join in. She shrugged him off and climbed off of me and went to the bathroom. We walked her back to her hotel room shortly after. So that is Goodnight Moon's basically description of that same event. Whose side, this is one of those things where, yes, it's important to believe someone giving their side of an essay story. But now we have Goodnight Moon basically saying Angelica started it, right? And she's not claiming SA, but she is claiming that Angelica started it and she didn't want it anymore when it seems this PJ guy tried to get involved. But again, I guess we'll have to wait to see if Angelica has proof of this or if Goodnight Moon has proof of this. But that's not the end of her statement. She then ended up saying, I had no idea that she was feeling negatively about me that night until a couple of days later, after several VidCon related gatherings with other ASMR artists who I chatted with as normal. She messaged PJ the day after those gatherings, saying that she was really upset that I was blatantly disregarding the fact she wanted nothing to do with me, and that I relentlessly kept forcing myself into conversations she was having with other people. I was really shocked to hear this. It was at a complete loss for why she thought I already knew she was upset with me. As soon as I did know, I made sure to respect her desire for space, and her claims that I continued to encroach on her and become more and more frustrated and insistent that she interact with me are simply untrue. I understand that people can possess shared experiences differently, especially when alcohol is involved. She clearly experienced that night as harmful, and I'm sorry for the pain she has been going through since, but I cannot accept being described as someone who forced themselves onto her. That's not what happened. Sorry for the somewhat graphic nature of this recounting, but given the seriousness of Angelica's claims against me, I need to share my perspective clearly and truthfully. Thank you for listening. And that's a very fair response. Again, I'm not going to say Angelica's lying. I'm not going to say Goodnight Moon is telling the truth. I'm not going to say either one is lying or either one is telling the truth. It just does make you wonder, like, the characters involved in this situation, right? Angelica is a very controversial character. Goodnight Moon is this character who's literally in no drama. She just makes ASMR videos. She doesn't even make, like, explicit content. She doesn't do OnlyFans. She doesn't do anything like that. She's not like some controversial character, right? She's literally like some PG, probably G-rated ASMR creator who just minds her business, being accused of SA 6 years after an event where you just kind of got drunk together mutually and wanted to have fun with a girl. You guys were both kind of consenting to it, and then 6 years later, now they're saying it was SA. I don't know whose side to believe, right? Because this could all literally come down to just them kind of having a falling out, and now Angelica's trying to pivot. She's trying to shift the blame and be like, well, Goodnight Moon is like a horrible person who SA'd me, when in actuality we have no truth to this statement behind it. We have Goodnight Moon's side and we have Angelica's side. Now, Angelica did end up including this screenshot text conversation between PJ and Angelica, where PJ basically talks about how he accidentally told ASMR Darling, another ASMR creator, about what happened that night, that they almost had a little three-way action, right? And Angelica ends up saying to him, I appreciate your honesty, Patrick. I'm further disappointed private information spread to virtual strangers, but I respect you for reaching out. Frankly, after I fell asleep in my hotel room, I couldn't remember 85% of what happened the night before. However, I recall how I felt horrified, confused, disappointed, and disgusted, and processed those feelings throughout the day. I don't blame Erin for your actions, but I blame Erin for her lapse in judgment. If someone is highly intoxicated, then you shouldn't touch them sexually for any reason, let alone if they're in a relationship. Granted, once again, I can't recall the details, but that's about all the context we have. Again, it's Erin's side, aka Goodnight Moon, versus Angelica's side of a very controversial and extremely serious situation that I think is more than just some ASMR drama content. This is like a crime that is now being pushed on a very massive 1 million subscriber YouTuber by another massive YouTuber in the ASMR community of all places. Now, shortly after making these serious accusations and allegations, she ends up talking about how she became friends with this other creator by the name of Elise ASMR, who is also a person who decided to throw their hat into the ring and talk about the Angelica ASMR drama, basically distancing herself in a video that she also released. But she ends up talking about how they ended up meeting because Elise basically reached out to her to try to help her out because someone doxed her and her boyfriend, which is pretty cool. Like, that's a good friend to reach out and be like, hey, like, I don't know if you know this, but like your information is online. Here you go. And they started a friendship this way. Now she gets into their interesting relationship where they ended up meeting up, right? Angelica's boyfriend, Elise, and it very quickly came that Elise was kind of a little clingy, right? She was clingy. She was getting mad at Angelica because she wasn't like spending time with her, and she was kind of mad that she even brought her boyfriend along to hang out with them. So it seemed very quickly that Angelica was kind of like, oh, I gotta get away from this person.
Drinks, we buy her expensive food. Like, it was, she loved it, we loved it, it was great. Then for some reason, out of left field, it was truly out of left field, she starts talking about some like vague, mysterious crap about what I had done. And I'm like, what have I done? Like, what are you talking about right now? What did I do? And she was like, I can't believe you don't even know what you did. And I'm like, I really don't know what you're talking about. We took you out to a nice fancy dinner. She wouldn't tell me, and then she blocked me for like a year or whatever. Then she emails me and starts spam calling me like a year later, basically saying like, oh, the reason I was upset at you was because you brought your boyfriend. And I'm like, yeah, it was quite frustrating. I'm like, how is that a problem? Like, how is that an issue? If it was an issue, you could have raised it before, whatever. But I'm like, whatever, you know, I still have loyalty to you due to the fact that you helped me out in this situation. But yeah, it was like constant drama. And it's like anytime I didn't respond to her for a while, she would then start flipping out. I cannot stomach friendships or people where they're like, if you don't message me, you're a bad person.
And this is where Angelica ends up saying that this Elise person was using them to basically boost their own clout and was stealing ideas from them.
Then she makes this video about me a couple months ago. And I'm like, where the hell did this video come from? So she then decides out of left field to start defending me. And then I start noticing a pattern. Are you trying to get attention through me? And then she's like, no, I would never do that. Then she tells me later, a year later, she's like, oh, I'm gonna make a video about you just because, you know, I want to make sure that no one thinks I think the way you do. And I'm like, that's fine. Like, you know, clarify your opinions. I have no problem with this. I have my opinions. You're entitled to yours. But then during this video, she starts reviewing all of this bullshit where she's like, I don't know if she even likes women and all of this nonsense. Yeah, I'm like, I think you were only ever friends with me for attention, for just clout, for just like whatever. Like, this was not a genuine friendship. Because then after she makes this video, she continues to actually directly copy my ideas. So where before she was very concerned about people thinking that she was copying me, then she almost undeniably keeps copying me, where she starts doing like really niche like titles a week or two after I release a video, where it's like, you know, World War III draft. A week later, she then makes a World War III draft. Elon Musk baby mama retirement application. 1 week later, she makes a Elon Musk baby mama application. freaking Sydney Sweeney ranking your jeans or rating your jeans or whatever, then she makes a video like that. And I'm like, if I'm such a terrible friend, if I'm such a terrible person that you don't agree with, that you don't align with, why do you keep copying me?
I don't know how I feel about that because as like a drama slop tuber, I borrow ideas all the time. Like everybody's going to borrow ideas from everyone. But I guess when it comes to ASMR, like Angelica took it to heart that she'd make a video like, oh, here's a Sydney Sweeney roleplay, and then this Elise chick would also make a Sydney Sweeney roleplay. If it works is kind of my philosophy, right? Like, I don't think you can plagiarize ideas, like ASMR at least, like ASMR ideas. You can plagiarize a script, you can plagiarize someone doing something word for word, but if someone does something and you like it, like a cosplay or like a role play, I don't think you can necessarily steal it. And that was mainly this point of the video. She then ends up getting into the drama that she had with another ASMR creator named Diddly ASMR, not Diddy, Diddly, where she accused this girl of Ageplay, essentially, claiming that she creates content to pander to creepy men who like younger looking girls, because Diddley, I guess, looks pretty young. She looks youthful and she had braces. She also did cosplay as Belle Delphine, to be fair, but her whole claim that like Diddley was this massive like P-word baiter is just crossing the line, is reaching, in my humble opinion.
She came into my comment section when I ended up saying, don't waste your money at college spending like 6 figures worth of debt to study something like gender women's studies or some philosophy degree or whatever. Then she comes along in my comment section saying how rich it is that a YouTuber is making such comments. And I'm like, who the hell is this? Why is she in my comment section trying to virtue signal? Then I look up her profile because I'm like, who is this? Then I recognize her and I'm like, oh, we had a conversation like 5 years ago. Why didn't you just privately message me? Why did you do this publicly? Then I see what she's posting and it's all like Belle Delphine inspired, like law adjacent, like bullshit. And I'm like, hold up. You do not have the absolute audacity to post a comment saying, why is a YouTuber criticizing university or getting like, you know, some career that's like gonna benefit you for your future while you're dressed up like a little girl as a grown woman and literally sexualizing others.
I've talked to Diddley about this situation when it happened. And for the most part, nothing on her page really screams like Ageplay. Nothing on her page really screams, I'm a little, right? I'm young. Come follow me. This was probably around what her Instagram looked like at the time of that big drama. And this is the kind of content she's posting. Nothing screams little, nothing screams Ageplay. Sure, she's girly, she's kind of feminine, whatever. She likes things like Kirby and like video games and pink stuff. There's no binkies, you know, she's not in diapers, she's not rocking zip up, tie up shoes, Velcro shoes. She's not literally doing anything that just screams childish at all. And again, it came across as a huge reach from Angelica. And the fact that she decided to now like double down to try to push that narrative in this video, again, after very serious claims like the SA stuff, on top of now the Elise stuff, where she's basically like accusing her of kind of being like a weird stalker who steals her content, the video is just kind of like falling apart at this point. Now, at about the 37-minute mark is where she cut a whole bunch of content out. I will include that down below, but it's basically her just giving her thoughts on like Epstein and a bunch of other controversial topics like trans issues and whatnot. Again, I'm not sure why she removed this. Like, if it's your thoughts, if it's your video on your channel, you should keep it. Like, unless it's something you regret saying or didn't mean to say or whatnot, you just keep it up there, because now, of course, people are going to re-upload it and think there's a reason why you cut it, kind of like I'm doing now. But this is before she decides to go after Jojo's ASMR, who, again, massive YouTuber, massive ASMR creator, also a fan of the channel, and he also has a commentary channel where he talks about ASMR drama, he talks about other topics that he's kind of interested in, and just kind of does his own thing. And in this section, Angelica calls him out for basically grifting, is kind of what it seems like she's accusing him of doing, because he called out another creator by the name of Gwen Gwiz, who went from this like super lesbian OF girl who's doing like super hardcore content to a milkmaid, essentially, like this stay-at-home wife type thing, cooking and cleaning for the husband. And then whenever she did that, he made a video on it again.
Why are you so obsessed with this woman? She's never done anything to you. She's nice. Why are you doing this? That's weird as shit.
Don't forget her most popular videos, try-on hauls. In these videos, she would wear stuff ranging from swimsuits to dresses to bikinis, and she would, you know, show a bit of skin, have a nice time, and it was that. Bing bong baggity boom, free shenanigans, and a sausage sizzle.
All of these vocal bullshit ass virtue signaling fake ass bitches never defended her. So yeah, basically, I can't stomach the hypocrisy that I keep seeing all around me. Like, this woman went into it, he criticized her, called her a hoe, started saying all of this crap, saying she was ruining ASMR. She then leaves. He then starts crapping on her, saying, I don't know about this, blah, 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 blah. Starts, like, playing, like, this bullshit-ass role.
She also talks about how he made content about Ephemeral Rift, and the only point she mentions is that Ephemeral Rift said the N-word, and then she goes back and finds a clip from like 7 years ago where Jojo said the N-word, but he also apologized for it.
It used to be a creative space where you could make money, but now it's filled with a bunch of like desperate attention seekers and people who copy other people's ideas, and it's just so annoying. Anyways, so he then criticizes Ephemeral Rift, saying, oh, he said the N-word. And I'm like, you said the N-word.
I'll be aware, there is a clip which has started to surface on YouTube and apparently on Twitter of a clip of me from 5 years ago when I was a 16-year-old teenager quoting and referencing another person's use of the N-word.
Like, are you kidding me? You used to look up to freaking, like, Leafy is Here and iDubbbz and wanted to become, like, some knockoff version of them.
The facts to that is Ephemeral Rift did a lot more than just say the N-word. Like, bro had a whole meltdown where he was basically comparing humans to livestock and, like, calling humans cancer. And then he made, like, a parody of trans people where he, like, pretended to do drag. It's a lot more than him just slipping the N-bomb or saying it once. Like, Angelica is just dishonest. I'm not sure why, because again, like, throughout this video, she's kind of just giving her opinions and her thoughts on situations that she was involved in her life, basically what you would consider, or what she considers her cancellation. And she just completely discredits herself when she does something like this by trying to downplay situations. Again, trying to poison the well, like with the diddly stuff. She didn't need to address some of these things truthfully, like again, Jojo, or like the diddly stuff, or just kind of a lot of this in this video she didn't need to address if she wasn't going to address it honestly, in my opinion. But that's just my thoughts. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this kind of gave you a rundown of what the heck's going on in the ASMR community. It's crazy, guys. Every community you can think of has drama, and ASMR is no stranger to it. Thank you for watching, though. Comment down below what you think. As always, going to be linked down below Angelica's original video as well as the uncut video. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.